Now, chemical reactions are happening all around us all the time, but when we observe them, we can actually prove that they've happened by seeing some things in particular. So some of the ways that we can prove a chemical reaction has taken place is if we see the formation of a precipitate. So when you mix two liquids together, sometimes you'll get a solid formed. Sometimes it will be colourful, sometimes it's just white, but there will be a solid substance which will fall to the bottom of a test tube in this example, and it wasn't there before. So if you make a brand new precipitate when you mix two liquids together, that is an example of proof that a chemical reaction has taken place. Some more proof that a chemical reaction has taken place is if there's a gas produced. So if you mix things together and you see bubbles formed, that's a new thing. So you've released some oxygen or carbon dioxide or hydrogen gas into the air. That means that a chemical reaction or a chemical change must have taken place to produce that new gas product. Sometimes there'll be a colour change in a chemical reaction. So if things are mixed together and a new colour is formed that is different to the first two things which were mixed together or broken apart, then you must have a new chemical product. A chemical change must have taken place. So there must have been a chemical reaction. So a completely different colour must mean a chemical reaction has taken place. Also, if light is emitted, so if you release some light in the process, sometimes you can get luminescent chemicals which, when they're mixed, they release light, and that proves that new products are being formed. So energy is being released, and the emission of light is basically a proof that a chemical reaction has taken place. And if there's a large temperature change, this kind of big change in energy, a bit like light, really does prove that a chemical reaction is taking place. So that's showing that basically the bonds holding together the atoms or the molecules or the compounds in the chemical reaction, they're changing, and when they're breaking apart or forming, they're releasing heat or absorbing heat to get cold. So if they're releasing heat, it's actually an exothermic chemical reaction, so it releases heat. And if a chemical reaction gets cold, it's actually called endothermic. So heat's coming in, it's making the surroundings kind of cold around it. So there's some proof that a chemical reaction has taken place. If you see a precipitate, a formation of a solid, or if a gas is produced, or if there's any sort of color change, or any light is emitted, or there's any sort of temperature change, that proves that you've seen a chemical reaction or a chemical change and brand new chemical compounds have been formed.